The Geneva Accords. Between April 26th and July 20th, 1954, a number of nations, principally the Soviet Union, the United States, the United Kingdom, and the People's Republic of China, met to resolve issues outstanding from the Korean War. A second corollary to the meeting was an attempt to deal with the war in Indochina. On March 8, 1949, after the Elysee Accords, the state of Viet Nam was recognised by France as an independent nation within the wider French Federation under the Emperor Bao Dai. In practice, this reserved some foreign policy decisions to France, in a similar way to the situation in Australia and New Zealand, in which both countries were integrated into the system of imperial defence when they received their independence in 1901. In 1953, Cambodia and Laos were also granted similar independence. During the First Indochina War, hundreds of thousands of Vietnamese served in the Vietnamese National Army. As of July 1954, there were 167,700 men active in the Vietnamese National Army, in addition to 37,800 auxiliaries, giving a total force of 205,500 Vietnamese under arms. This was in conjunction with the French Federation Expeditionary Force, which also had 190,000 men. What is less commonly known is that a large part of this force was also made up of Vietnamese troops in ostensibly French formations. The only things agreed to at the Geneva Conference were the 4 temporary ceasefire clauses. These were initialed rather than signed. What has been purposely suppressed with regards to the Accords is their true nature. Neither the United States nor the state of Vietnam were signatories to the Accords, and neither the emergent North Vietnam or South Vietnam that emerged after the Accords recognised each other. What passes for the Accords is in fact a set of documents tabled by various interest groups for discussion during the conference. These were then collected and published together at the end of the meeting. They are not a source of agreement. At the last session, for example, the Viet Minh delegation, faced with the Soviet Union's decision not to support their claim to possess all of Vietnam, put forward a face-saving ambit in the form of tabling a desire for future free elections to be held. Knowing full well that this would not happen, it was a very clever propaganda ploy. There was never a serious commitment to such elections on the part of the hardcore Stalinist leadership of the Viet Minh. Trained in the art of Marxist-Leninist subversion at the Lenin School in Moscow, for example, long-term operative Ho Chi Minh had been well taught in how to bring down class enemies in accordance with Marxist-Leninist doctrine through pyramid control and popular front tactics, in which the revolutionary takes on the veneer of nationalism, peacenik and social reformer. To such an operative, the idea of elections had great propaganda value, as well as providing a justification, a face-saving justification to his own group that would give them a sense that they had won something at the conference. What followed the Geneva Conference was in effect a Mexican standoff, similar to the divide between North Korea and South Korea into two powers that even today are technically still at war. The great tragedy is that the true nature of the so-called Accords and their authentic context has been buried by many historians in the quest for political correctness.